Lenovo has unveiled its next generation ultra slim laptops along with PCs and services. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Lenovo is Senior Technologist Lee Highsmith. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Fred. Thanks for having me.
Well, you've got some new laptops coming out that are really featuring some new capabilities. Give us a bit of an overview, first of all. Is there an overall theme here?
I think the overall theme you'd hear is it's all about consumption, creation, and collaboration, kind of split into what people value, trying to give them the right choice for a laptop that fits what they want to do. And of course, in the last couple of years, I think that technology has taken on a very different level of weight for a lot of our customers. So we've brought together a refresh of some of our Yoga Slim products and really introduced 3 new fully refreshed technology products with some options in there too. So there are lots of things to dive into, but they're all about that creation and collaboration and consuming content.
How has this new environment where so many people are still working from home, others are back at the office, and a lot of others are sort of in between, going back and forth. How has that changed what Lenovo decided they're going to do with this new line?
I would say it focused us. I mean, I think mobility and experience and sort of balancing things have always been part of the design heritage of Lenovo as a whole. But certainly certain things stood forward, so screens, people are spending a lot more time with their screen of their device, webcams, speakers. I mean, traditionally things we focused on for experience, but I think, as I said, it kind of amplified their importance for a lot of our customers, and these new products definitely reflect that.
Well, let's talk about some of the specifics here. What are some of the new models, and tell us about their specs?
Alrighty, so I think the first thing is the Slim 7i Pro offerings. So that was it's really an update with some great new capabilities as far as latest generation processors, updated discrete graphics options. So now it's up to the GeForce RTX 2050, 1080p webcams, a 165 hertz panel option on our 16-inch AMD Slim 7 Pro. So a lot of kind of updated things there on the previous platform. So that wasn't really the the newest dimension in what we're doing, but the 3 new members of the family really kind of all have some things in common in terms of the totality of approach. So I think premium design is certainly one of those things we're trying to bring forward in this family or this set of families. But also that focus on power and creativity and collaboration. They all have a new design language that we call Comfort Edge design, which really is designed to not only just look good, but feel good to carry around people, or whether it's moving around within your residence or moving around to places, whether it be work or a coffee shop or somewhere else. That feel good in your hand thing is something we really feel like people are beginning to value, because nobody wants to pick up something and have it feel sharp in their hands, and somewhere in your mind you're thinking, I can't wait to put that thing down, right? Also on the display side, all of these feature what we call Puresight displays, and Puresight, sort of a short description of that would be displays that meet high-end specs that we've defined, whether it be refresh rate, nits of brightness, things like that, that again give you a great experience when you're using the screen a lot longer than you used to just a few years ago, right? So those Puresight displays are really the best things we can put forward and balance that, the need and price and things like that. Also focus on AI as well. So we're using what we call the AI Engine Plus in all of these machines to not just do better security things like presence detection, encryption, etc., but also give you better battery life, better performance, kind of understand sort of what you're doing and focus things like the GPU or the CPU, depending on the task at hand. So a little bit more intelligent about that, working in the background to give you better performance or battery life, depending on what it feels like your work mode is. So that's kind of all of the common to all of the new products. And then you have the Slim 7i Carbon, the Slim 9i, and the Slim Pro X products as well. So we can step through those if you like.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a look at them individually here and talk about where pricing begins too. I understand that the 7i Carbon weighs just 2.2 pounds. Seems
Yeah,
impossible.
it's it's kind of amazing. Like, you know, just a few years ago, we had a product that was a very similar weight, and when we handed it to people, their hands went up. They just expected it to be heavy, and in this case, not only is it, you know, really light, under 1 kilogram, just 2.2 pounds, but it also passes mil-spec test. So the durability of something you don't really expect and something so feather light is something we've really focused on. Obviously, we have a lot of heritage in that in our commercial products. We have what we call carbon web core 2.0 top cover, you know, an aerospace grade magnesium frame inside the computer or inside the laptop. So we're doing a lot, not just to make it light, but also knowing it's light and thus more portable, we're making sure that it's also durable enough to that task as well.
Well, tell us about some of the other new machines here in the line, the specs.
Okay, so the just starting, actually, I'll stick with the 7i Carbon for a moment. You've got a 2.8K OLED screen. These are 13.3-inch screens, by the way. That's a really nice bright screen at 400 nits. It has Dolby Vision. There's a touch option as well. We have really a lot of focus on these screens, as I've said. So the experience there is really, really important to us, that you have a good experience. Dual microphones, you know, a high definition webcam with an e-shutter. So if you have something going on, you can obviously block the camera. So really focused on mobility there with the 7i Carbon. And it's funny, I kind of think of these in terms of my kids. I have 3 kids, and these 3 models all seem very specific to one of my kids. So the 7i Carbon is my oldest kid, who really values that mobility and power. As an artist for a living, does illustration for a living. And this is a great balance here with the power, but also the weight to kind of work anywhere, because that one is in the Pacific Northwest, and you can find them going all over the place to work in environments, from their apartment out to the outdoors, and recently in the office as well. So those started, by the way, at $12.99 and are coming in June. Most of the announcements today will be a June delivery date, with one exception. The next one is the Slim 9i, and this one is really my middle kid, to be honest. Really, really all about elegance, just as the most, that elegance I was talking about, sort of that approach to that rounded edge design, really speaks the most here. It's got a 3D glass top cover. It just looks good sitting there. And then, you know, that you open up that comfort edge design and you find a really beautiful OLED panel. We have a couple of different options of OLED panels here. One that's 4K if you value resolution, or there's a 2.8K model that has 90 hertz refresh rate. So, you know, my middle kid is more of a little bit of a gamer, and a little bit, he also mixes music and things like that. So I think that 2.8K OLED screen with the higher refresh rate would be him. But if you value full resolution, we have that, of course. 4 Bowers and Wilkins tuned speakers, so really great sound. As I mentioned, that's a big focus for us this time. And that same dual microphone setup with a 1080p full HD webcam as well. So this one is really, I think, the most beautiful and the highest elegance of the bunch.
Where does pricing start on this? This is the flagship, right?
It is the flagship. So it starts at $17.99, also coming in June. It's just a hair over 3 pounds and 1.37 kilograms for our metric friends. So it's kind of a balance, right? It's not the lightest thing we could do, but with the speaker experience and the wonderful OLED panels and just the combination of things really makes it just a thoroughly premium notebook.
And then you have the Slim 7i Pro models. Tell me about them.
That's right. So they kind of underline the word power. You know, one of the things that's kind of in our messaging wheelhouse, if you will, is the power to just be you. And, you know, that idea is, you know, whether it's you need to work, you need to play, you want to consume content. Well, for this one, this is my youngest kid. He's a gamer who also does things like coding and 3D animation. We're getting ready to send him off to art school to be in 3D animation, and this would be his. It's really all about power here, and again, that balance of things. So 14.5-inch screens at a 3K display with 120 hertz refresh, so really important for people doing content creation. It's actually NVIDIA Studio certified, this particular platform. And this one is part of our X Power platform family. So here we're really selecting top performance components, and again, really trying to orient against best experience as well as performance without giving away other things like the experience of the machine, the durability, things like that. So this one really is kind of the max power edition, goes up to 32 gig of memory, has the GeForce RTX 3050, and some models it's kind of the top option there. Lots of connectivity. It's again, underlines the word power here in the announcements for today.
Terrific. And so those, the Slim 7i ProX and the Slim 7 ProX, and the I would designate Intel as opposed
That's
to
right.
AMD.
So AMD, we have i5 and i7 models, and of course, there's going to be a little bit region dependent. And then 6000 series Ryzen processors and 579 Creator Edition models as well. So a lot of choice in the portfolio as well in terms of configuration and bang for the buck. And this one starts just under 3.5 pounds. It's 1.6 kilograms. So again, you're really looking at that performance model where a little more weight gets you a lot more horsepower.
And where does pricing begin?
So $14.99 on the AMD models, and those begin to ship in June. And the Intel models start at $16.99 and also ship in June.
So getting back to what consumers expect today, have the needs really changed? Have you seen a real difference in what consumers are looking for?
Well, absolutely. I think it's a variety of things kind of coming to play here, whether it's people who are working from home and their company has said, get a laptop, and we'll refund you. And, in the days of disrupted supply chains and where IT organizations weren't necessarily ready to have a home-based workforce, we've seen a lot of people choose a device that they want as their device to work. So that obviously implies a lot of things in terms of, again, power and experience. Great webcams are not just important for, for engaging with your friends and family, but also obviously in a work environment, really, really important for that collaboration. So the speaker experience and screens, what we saw was an amplification of need there. And we're really trying to deliver it. The hybrid workplace is something that was not new to us as a concept, and we had been evolving toward it. But I think in terms of needs, customers were made really, really aware of those as satisfiers, right? As things that give you great experience, and are valuing those in a way that we might not have seen as much before. So it really gave us an opportunity, I think, to do the work that Lenovo does. We're a design company at our core, and really did a lot of work to create better experience and balance in terms of things like durability and specs and whatever. So we want to make sure we don't give away things and trying to bring more value in the box.
And I guess with as much video conferencing as people are doing today, the camera has become an important piece here. Many people have, gone out and purchased add-on cameras. You're saying with these, that's probably not a necessity?
Yeah, most of these models, there are some FHD models in there, and we actually have used some of the AI to crisp up the video and give you better experience, but most of them are going to have a 1080p webcam in most configurations. Obviously, that gives you, the best face back to the world, but I think it would be remiss. I mean, most of these are also high spec speakers, a great experience on the screen. I mean, all those things are things that in consumer PCs tended to be more occasional use, I guess I'll say less hours per day. And now it's a lot of the day. So we're really, with the speakers, with the webcams, with the screen, even things like our keyboards, bigger trackpads and edge-to-edge keyboards, we don't want you to notice those. We want you to just feel good about them and use them and enjoy your experience and not be thinking about, what your keyboard feels like, or wishing you had a bigger trackpad, things like that. So the experience piece of this is to disappear and let you do what you came to the PC to do, whether it's work or play or consume, things like that.
Lenovo has always been legendary about making machines that last. Any issues with as much as people are using these today? I mean, you talked about people using them all day, and then they go on at night too for entertainment and for communication and whatnot. Any thoughts about attention paid to durability?
Well, it's a great thing that we pay attention to in all phases of our design, because it's important to our customers for sure. And I mentioned that the Slim 7i Carbon has mill standard certification tests that we have tested it to, and it passes, because again, the smaller and lighter it is, the more we know it's going to be mobile, so we test it harder, and that's always been part of how we design. So durability is good for our customers, but it also makes good sense for us as well as a company. I mean, if things break, our customers aren't happy, it creates cost in our warranty and service and things like that. So our mantra really across the entire company has been quality, as much because our customers value it as it helps us be a healthy company.
Well, for more info, we're going to steer people to Lenovo.com. They can find the full lineup of all these new machines just announced. Lee Highsmith, thank you for taking the time with us.
Fred, I appreciate it. I had fun. Thanks.